Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Uniswap, its valuations against Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as the US dollar. Remember, if you do like this video and the other videos that I make on this channel, be sure to hit the like button down below and also consider subscribing. So, um, I just made a video on Chainlink, and I think what I've said about Chainlink can be applied to Uniswap as well. Uniswap has bled considerably since May of 2021. If we take it to the wick, and this is the valuation of Bitcoin, and we take it to where we are right now, we've bled about 56.5% against Bitcoin. Against Ethereum, it's even worse. We're looking at the 78% bleed against Ethereum. And for the US dollar, when we look at the all-time high back in May, we bled about 54% against the US dollar. The Uniswap token is currently trading at about $21.80. Um, and and that's that. When we look at focusing on Bitcoin, we can see multiple support levels have been broken. This yellow line here, which was at 48,000 satoshis. The secondary green line, which was at 40,000 satoshis, we've broke, and finally we're looking to see a bounce here at 34,061 610 satoshis. This green line is simply just taking account for the wick here, and it seems that we're bouncing here. So good things. However, take into note of this. I'll change this to maybe blue. This blue downward line of resistance, which has been hampering the progression of Uniswap for quite some time, ever since May. We get rejected, and then actually on the 4th of October, we had a pretty nasty 18% correction, which got us even further away from this line. So with that said, even if we extend it, Uniswap this week, if it were to do it this week, would have to rally, roughly 20% to even get into shooting, to get to the line, downward line, and then would have to rally even further to get above it. So it's a tall order for Uniswap, and Uniswap has been struggling for the entire for basically 2021. We've essentially cut half of the Bitcoin of the Uniswap rally that we had in early 2021. In the back half of 2021, we're coming back down. With that said, I think when we look at the Uniswap Ethereum chart, it seems a little hopeful. The lines are a little bit more clear. You can see two bounces here, one from the week of November 2020, as well as the first week of January of 2021. We bounced at this Ethereum level here. This bounce rallied 300%, over 300% against Ethereum, almost 350% against Ethereum, essentially, which is amazing returns considering the fact that you're outpacing Ethereum by 360%. Regardless, we've lost all those gains and we're back down to square one, pretty much. And this is where I am making my bet with Uniswap. I've had a pretty large Uniswap position already when I was accumulating it back here. And since we're back at it again, I find this as a second opportunity to load up on Uniswap. So for the past couple of weeks and last week, essentially, I've essentially doubled down on my Uniswap position, not necessarily doubling the valuation of my cost basis, but putting a sizable amount of my Bitcoin and Ethereum and transferring it over into Uniswap tokens. And so basically, I've been accumulating in this area here on the basis that I'm anticipating some kind of bounce here. In addition, the RSI is at 29.46. We are now in oversold territory on the weekly. I think this is it's a more reliable kind of RSI indicator on the weekly compared to the daily, because if we flip it to the daily, it can just it's hard to keep track, right? Like this bounce to 66.26 was really only like a 30% move up against Ethereum. Those are not the bounces that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the major weekly bounce on the RSI. Because if we reach 66 on the RSI, that's what brought us up to 0.018188 Ethereum. compared to the lows of the RSI at 23.02. So the major swings on the RSI on the weekly, for me, are worth the risk. And I think at these points, at these levels, Uniswap is the least riskiest it can be in its valuations against Ethereum. And I still think the Uniswap protocol is still relevant in today's space, and I think it will remain relevant for the foreseeable future. And because of that, I've increased my position on Uniswap. When we look at the US dollar, it's a little bit less clear, but you could see that we're at a support line on the RSI right now, that kind of relate back to these three bounces here at $15, $16. We're not quite there yet. Obviously, we're at 21.80, but I think at the moment right now, the way I see it is that the US dollar, like every asset, crypto asset within this cycle, is going to outpace the US dollar. By how much is up for debate. I think the important part is try to outpace Bitcoin and Ethereum. And if you're able to outpace Ethereum, you found yourself a gem. This can be Solana. Solana has outpaced Ethereum considerably. Polygon. You can look at other assets like Cardano that oscillate to against Ethereum, but creates amazing trading opportunities and intracycle volatility. VeChain is another example of that. Is one of my best trades. So yeah, like these are the things to take into consideration. And with Uniswap, we don't necessarily know if it's an oscillator or not, but it can very well be. If this is the relative top and this is the relative bottom, and Uniswap just comes up and down like this, then those are my favorite charts to play, because it becomes fairly predictable, predictable trades to then increase your Ethereum your Ethereum holdings, your Ethereum coins and tokens. And in tandem, you can use this strategy to increase your Uniswap tokens as well. So this is essentially kind of the play that I'm looking at. Uniswap is probably the most interesting play that I have at the moment, because we're at such a critical point. Can it go lower? Of course it can. There's no reason why it has to bounce at this level. I'm just saying, to me, it seems quite likely, and I'm willing to bet on it. And I'm willing to add to my position at this point. If it does go lower, then so be it. The RSI gets even lower, and the likelihood of a bounce ever increases. At which point I would continue to accumulate Uniswap. That's basically it. If Uniswap has to come back down to $15, $16, so be it. I will accumulate it there. That's a pretty good discount, if I would say so myself. That would be about a 30% drop against the US dollar. At the same time, when we look at the Bitcoin valuation, it is also bouncing at a support level. So it's kind of leading me to believe that Uniswap is going to start outpacing the big two, but we shall see. It doesn't have to play out that way. It can be a little different. For example, like we can see this dip and then another major dip and then it comes straight back up, and that would be, I guess, your despair phase. If you look at that classic chart, Wall Street chart, for stocks. So, these are things to take into consideration. Also take into consideration the strength of Ethereum and Bitcoin. They both seem great. They both seem pretty healthy. Bitcoin's still above its 20-week moving average, and the Bitcoin dominance is currently trending down since the middle of October. So all of this is leading me to believe that altcoins will do well. Uniswap is going to be one of them, and ergo, double down on my position. Anyway, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.